Shalom and welcome to Rabbi Gabriel's mini podcast where we talk about stuff. I'm a Hebrew teacher, I'm also Torah teacher, and also Bible teacher. And as I teach Hebrew, very often people start having questions. Learning Hebrew and reading the Bible in Hebrew changes your understanding of the Bible, believe me. I heard it said one time that reading the Bible through translation is like kissing a bride through a veil. Anyway, the other day I was giving one of such Hebrew classes to a friend, and he started talking to me about his prayer life, and that was quite interesting. This person was raised, I think, Lutheran. No. I think he was Baptist, yeah. So, and he had learned to pray spontaneous prayer. But later on, he got involved in Messianic Judaism. Messianic Judaism is a form of Judaism, and that uses actually Judaism for liturgy. So basically, we pray liturgically. I'm a Messianic Judaism rabbi. We pray using the synagogue liturgy, which means spontaneous prayer are used for personal prayer time, whereas as a group in the synagogue, the congregation prays together liturgically. And he really enjoyed this liturgical prayers until he came to a point where he felt he wanted to be more spontaneous again. And he asked me, what is the right one? And I told him, well, there is not a right one. You're standing here on the premises that one works against the other, that it's either this or that. That's a wrong premise. There's just a place for everything. There is a time where we pray in a group, and then we've got to have something already written so we all pray the same thing. Yeshua taught such prayer called the disciples' prayer, the Our Father, the Avinu, which is actually a contraction of larger Jewish prayers. And but Hannah, in the Bible, the mother of Samuel the prophet, went to the tabernacle and prayed spontaneous prayers. David prayed spontaneous prayers called psalms, which became later on liturgical prayers. So there is a time and place for everything. But then it came to me, sorry, I've got to check my notes, It came to me that praying has different forms. There's many ways one can pray. One can pray while, let's say, one prays, we can pray liturgically. This is good especially for group prayers, but also for people who have a hard time expressing themselves. Not everybody can come up with words. I'm reminded of a little story I heard one time about a boy who was found praying, and he recited the alphabet. And somebody asked him, why do you do that? He says, well, I don't know what to say. And I don't know how to say it. So I thought that if I give him all the letters, He can put them together for me. So maybe you can pray by reciting the alphabet. I don't know. But all in all, we can pray liturgically. That means that's good for groups. So when we don't know what to say, we can pray spontaneously. Sometimes we have something to express, to share our heart with the Most High, and that's good too. Those are forms of praying. But also, we can pray. Sometimes, to me, I find a lot of time I pray while I study. I can study the Word, and as I study, I can use, as I study, it's like I'm talking, I'm communicating with the Master of the universe. That's praying also. Sometime while I study, a section of the Torah will jump at me, and I feel, wow, I'm being communicated with. We have to be sensitive. So also, that's also a form of praying. And sometimes we can just sit quietly, let our heart rest for a minute. People call it meditation, but to let our heart be silent and be quiet. I'm reading these days the adventures of the children of Israel in the desert, and in Hebrew the word desert or wilderness is midbar. For those of you who know Hebrew, it's written Mem Dalet Bet Resh. Well, it so happens that this is a synonym with the other Hebrew words spelled with the same letters, medaber, which means I speak or speech, speaker. And so those two words have a similarity. Well, I like to think that God speaks to us during the deserts of our lives, when we're totally vulnerable, subject to the elements, very little we can do to get food, water, shade. Well, we're totally dependent. And this is, in the quietness of the desert, we can hear the voice of the Almighty. Shalom.